Hello CFI and welcome to your student's details. The student detail page consists of a lot of information that is useful to you as a CFI. But what we're going to talk about today is a student's learning style, or what we call the psychographic learning profile. To the top right of the student's details page, you'll see an icon. In this case, it says kinesthetic. It tells us that this student is a kinesthetic learner. They are hands-on. Meaning, when you train the student, he generally wants to learn by doing things. But that's just generally. How do we know exactly what are needed to train the student and how best to approach outside of a general way? Okay, tapping on the kinesthetic tab, it will take you into some details. First, you'll notice that it tells you what the auditory scores are, what the visual scores are, what the kinetic score is. Now, looking at this, you can see clearly that he is predominantly kinesthetic, hands-on. Then he's auditory, you listen, and then visual. But these are still fairly high scores. Tapping on visual, it will tell you, okay, best for theoretical learning and some oral brief. It will tell you the preferred learning style. But how do we deal with this particular student? For example, let's take kinesthetic. We talk about the kinesthetic best for practical flight training. Beautiful. It also tells us the preferred learning style. This pilot learns best by doing and being directly involved in the flight training experience. That's fine. But how does this relate to the various aspects of flight training? If you look, you'll notice that we have listed out a couple of capabilities or a couple of things to look for with a particular learning style. Reading, handwriting, memory, imagery, distractibility, problem solving, response to period of inactivity, and response to new situation. Okay, let's take reading for example. Reading, not just reading, but reading the far aim. How does this student deal with reading the far aim? And below you see preferred story where action occurs early, and so on. This will give you details of how to deal with the kinesthetic learner. But let's go and look at the visual and click on reading again. You notice information change. Likes descriptions. Sometimes stop reading to stare into space and imagine seeing. Intense concentration. So again, by going to the learning style itself, tapping on any of these tabs down here, for example, how does the kinetic reader deals with problem solving, not just any problem solving, an in-flight emergency. This framework provides a baseline for you to learn about the particular student, each individual student. Since each student has to take a psychographic learning questionnaire at the beginning of their account sign up, this gives you a great amount of information to start with that you can work with moving forward with the student, making your process of learning how the particular student learns and how to fashion your training to meet the unique learning style of the student a lot easier and a lot better. There you have it. That takes care of dealing with the understanding how to use the psychographic learning profile page and how to start gaining information on your student so you can create a more effective training plan specifically designed for the individual student.